Hi, everybody. Office hours for the week of last week of January, first week of February. It's weird to say office hours for February 2nd. But here we are. So one of the things I wanted to go through today is based on this DesignCon panel that I moderated yesterday. And then a subsequent conversation from a newcomer to the server, HXH. And then I wanted to get some feedback from those of you who've been in the industry for a little while, potentially as a way of providing some guidance to young, early career engineers about how they should handle their time. Really, just because there's so many different directions that you can go, and time is not an infinite resource. So if everybody wants to go around, we'll do some quick introductions. We'll start with myself. I'm Brandon. I'm a tech journalist. I've been in the industry about 15 years, and I'm happy that you guys are all here. Umesh, you want to go next?
Yes, so I'm Umesh Lokhande. I based in Pune. I've been 10 years. It's been 10 years. I've been building IoT solutions that, of course, include embedded software and hardware. So, but right now, basically, I focus more on the embedded software side. Thank you.
Cool. Peter, do you want to go next?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Peter from Czech Republic. I'm freelancing hardware design engineer. Focusing on hardware design and quite universal, not specialty in IoT or similar things like universal hardware designer. Thank you.
Thanks. Let's see. Abhishek, do you want to go?
Yes, I'm Abhishek. I work as an embedded Linux developer and I do IoT, Linux, embedded Linux, and building products basically. I build around that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Joseph, you want to say hi?
Yeah, good day, good evening. Yeah, so I'm just a PCB hardware engineer and venturing into an IoT device design business. So yeah, that is it.
Cool. Let's see. There's some people over in the chat. If you want to say hello, people in the chat, just introduce yourselves there. That's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Let's see. I think there's some other streams on here. I can't see who's got audio privileges, but if you want to say hi, just butt in. Nobody by see you there, but if you want to say hi, introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Hey, hi everyone. Glad to be here, and we see some more people join today. So yeah, I'm a hardware design engineer. So I mostly work on RF millimeter wave circuits, designing them, simulation and stuff like that. So apart, I enjoy doing electronics and being around this as a hobby for around 5-6 years now. So yeah, cool. Great to have you all here and enjoying being a part of this community.
Great, cool, thanks. All right, so like I said, everybody, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit, and you're not on audio video, feel free to put some stuff about yourself in the chat. But sort of getting right to it, here is the topic of the abstract for this panel I moderated yesterday. Complexity of PCB and IC package designs is on the rise. This means that design paradigms have to change to meet shrinking time to market requirements. The growing trend is to shift analysis tasks, so SIPI analysis, earlier into the design and implementation phase. So like to the PCB and hardware engineer, that's what they're saying, is that they're asking these folks to now do signal and power integrity analysis. Now, for, depending on the way your organization is structured, this may happen, I don't know, Peter, if you have experience, I'm sure that you have to do a little bit of this on your own anyway. But it brings up this question, which is, where do you need to spend your time as an engineer, right? How do you determine what's worth learning and what's not? Because we're getting to the point now, and this is kind of the purpose of the DevHead server, right? We're getting to the point where we have we're looking for superhero engineers. We're looking for superheroes to do this work because there's so many different disciplines out there that are needed to create a device. And then subsequently, as if luck would have it, there was this post by a newcomer to the server, HXH, that said, "Hey guys, I just got a job offer and I'm super excited, but I wanted to get some input. It's going to be for Oracle on the OCI team doing UEFI stuff. I was wondering if going down this path would be too niche, or if it would be a good skill set in the world of embedded hardware and firmware." So again, on the one hand, we have this growing this panel that's discussing hardware engineers adding adding these capabilities to their repertoire of doing SI and PI analysis. And on the other hand, we have somebody who's looking to get into industry and go into what I feel is an incredibly niche place to start with, right? So I wanted to start out with some of the with sort of an open discussion and start out with some of the more senior developers in the room, potentially Amesh, and then maybe Peter, you can start, and then we can just sort of go around the horn and see what your approach has been. I know, Peter, you mentioned you're sort of a generalist. Amesh, I know you are. How do you allocate your time? How do you decide where to invest resources learning as you move forward? Can you comment, Amesh?
Yeah. So for me, because I grown up here in India and then I travel abroad, to answer this question, it's not very simple because I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so this is not very simple because it also depends on where you are located. Okay, because when I left India for my master studies, I was transitioning from a service economy to product economy. Germany was a product economy. Okay, and India is a service economy. So the job profiles are very different here in India than the jobs in Germany, which nobody talks. Okay, unless somebody could really care about it. So my opinion is when somebody wants to prepare for a skill sets, okay, then again you have to look for where demographically you're located at. That's the first thing. Second thing, in my opinion, is you have to look at what your long-term goal. Okay, because if you start your career with very big company, like in my case, I did my master studies in Germany, and then I get my master Arbeiter, what it's called, like a master thesis, and then there itself I continue to work as a job at Orbotech. So it's pretty straightforward path, right? You're not basically applying something else because that's what you are trained for, that's what you pick up. But then what happens is if you get into very, very big company, you basically end up not even doing FPGA synthesis, but you end up writing, whole day test benches, okay, for memory verification or something like that. That's what I did it for one whole year. First 6 months was innovation, and then later become a full wage. I have to transition into doing something more repetitive because the company is very big. Then I changed company and then get into a little bit startup sort of things. That's where my startup journey started. So my uh, long story short, if you want to target very big companies and very niche stable kind of job, and this all what the traditional definition of job is, then maybe going niche is fine, no problem with it. But again, like they have its own challenges. I'm talking in terms of commercial aspect, not the skill investments. And of course, if you spend time, you what you do again and again is what you are expert at, right? So if you would have asked me right now, 12 years later, I would have been test bench expert on the planet, right? Because I've been writing test benches for 12 years. And if you work with startups or medium scale company where your profile is very diverse, because you have to be very agile, very flexible. It's not like uh, you have this fixed set of thing, but you have to open for even a little bit of hardware design, little bit of software design, and nobody wants to build some award winning, Oscar winning product. Okay, because first, even if it's you start your career in a startup, you basically first validate what your senior has to say, okay, and then probably you yourself take on. So I think I already answered this question. Like, if it's nothing wrong with it, if you want to go for bigger one, then niche is fine. If you want to stay flexible and have, let's say, entrepreneurial ambitions or do freelancing or something, then it's fine to be a little bit flexible and have little diverse skill, which is not so niche, but could allow you to touch every aspect of technology and product. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Petter, you had an interesting comment on the post that I made talking about, you've got your personal brand. It's a little bit difficult sometimes to explain to customers exactly what it is you do. How do you draw the lines around your skill sets, right? Where do you say, I don't go past this part?
Thank you. Yeah, I fully agree with what Umesh just said. Just one thing I want to add is, even if you choose wrong, you can leave the company in 2-3 years after you find out that it's not for you. Just leave, just quit the job and find another one, or go freelancing. It's not a decision for the rest of your life. It's a decision for ideally for 3 years, in my opinion, because once employees stay too long and at a single position, they start like to be to fade out. I don't know how to say. So yeah.
Stagnant. Yeah. Well, you mentioned branding yourself, Petter. This is a problem, and this is one of the things that came up with Abhishek, that young man that we were talking about, or talking to HXH, which is, you're going to go into UEFI, and to your point, at Oracle, yeah, they have people who that's all they do, right? But outside of Oracle, this is a very, very, very limited skill set, right? That doesn't really have a whole lot of application on the open market, right? There are a few companies who would hire somebody like that. So I wonder, Petter, what do you tell people that you said you had sort of trouble explaining to people what you do, right? To potential customers. How do you describe yourself, I guess, then?
Yeah, I post what I wrote in the post was mentioned that I am having hard times explaining what I'm doing to like random people on networking events, for example. My prospective customers are most of the time aware what I'm doing, because this is why they asked me for a help or to participate in the project. But to answer your question, I take examples of projects for my customers. For example, like 3 to 4 examples of what I do, is like IoT device, communication device, control and measurement device. So once I can't cover it in one sentence, I describe it in a projects that I have done and worked on. So that way.
Okay. Does this periodically lead you into having into new areas, because you're describing it on a project basis, right? So, do you have to incrementally expand your skill set potentially? And when you do that, because you're doing it on a project basis, and when you do that, is there a point at which you say, okay, now I need to bring somebody else in, or I don't go past, I do this amount of firmware, but that's it, right? I don't do any more than this. Like, how do you?
Yeah, one of the best things to be a freelancer is that I can, in a limited way, but I can choose the projects I want to work on. So this is part of the decision. I want each project move me forward to make opportunity to learn something. So once the project is about something I already done and it's like boring stuff, I don't take it. So I just want to learn something new in each new project. So this is part of the decision if I go for it or not.
Awesome. Um, Abhishek, since we were talking to that newcomer, I think that this is a really pertinent discussion. What would you advise to somebody like that who's like, hey, I mean, it's also tough, right? If you're looking for a job and Oracle comes along and says, hey, you can be a UFI engineer for us, you're probably going to say, yeah, sure, yeah, why not? But like we said, you got to be careful to pigeonhole yourself. So if you were him and you entered that, I'm assuming he's going to take the job, right? What does he or somebody like him need to be aware of and like continue to learn in order to not box themselves in? What would you recommend?
Exactly, that actually happened with me as well, like this kind of situation. So I'd like to just give you a small brief of what happened with me, and then I'll go to that part. So in the starting of my college, I was exposed to the FPGA parts of it. As my college was like my university was more towards the research, so they went to Cyclone and the other FPGAs and then their level. Once I get into the that level, I understood like, okay, this is not something which I do want to do. So it's like a feedback which we give to ourselves. Okay, this is not something which I want to do. So we have to pivot ourselves in that point. Okay, like FPGA is something which is really crazy, really good, but not my thing. And then I went to like, okay, what's my thing? My thing is building applications. What's the way to it? I said like in the starting it would be STM32. So I went to that part, the microprocessor, the company for the microprocessor. And from that time I understood, okay, microprocessors are also not enough. We need microcontrollers are also not enough. We need microprocessors now. So then it again shifted. So the pivot is really important. Once you understand, once you get the feedback from your own life that this is not what is like required for you, it's really specific to a human. And exactly like as Umesh said, like it is like that. You will know that this is not something which you want to do. And many times, as Peter also said, like you cannot it's like hard in the industry to tell like I don't want to do it upon that. And that's why like freelancing is a good point. Ki, fine, like I would freelance and I will put like whatever I need, that only I will do. So that also I have experience with BLE. I don't want to do BLE. Industry wants me. What could I do?
What is it you don't want to do? Bill.
BLE, Bluetooth. Let's say
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth peripheral.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a complicated link layer. Everything, many things are there. The whole stack is there.
Mm-hmm.
That itself, if you want to understand and learn the RF part of it, then everything inside that, it will take you months and months. I don't want to do that. I want to be in the application layer where I would integrate to the build root, Yocto, contribute to that unit, and give myself some microcontroller level of AI level of output. I mean, that is something which comes out of a human when they are working, and that is really specific to that point. Like we all have shifted to many things. We all know that. And that's how we are at the end like, okay, this is not what we want to do, and we all are smiling at that point. We know that. So upon like UEFI again is a topic he will go through, he will understand. Then he might say ki, okay, this is good for me, I will stay at that. Or he might say, okay, there are something more than this. So that comes after a experience, which I would say like it's okay, give it a time, but always pivot. Do not stuck up to a thing which you do not want to do in your life.
I'm going to go back to you, Mesh, because I mean, you have a company, right? So there's a point at which you scale, right? Like it's like, okay, so now I've learned enough that I need to learn, but I need to scale, and there's a point at which I can't learn anymore. It's actually bad to learn more stuff. Where's that point? Where's that decision make? Where do you make that
W-
decision?
Very, very important point, which none of us talk, is financial expectation out of career. Okay. Maybe Mr. H and X or X and H, whatever, he maybe is looking for this answer. So it took me 10 years of my journey after returning back to India to hit the number which I 10 years back hit in a revenue. You have to be crazy idiot to, make a decision. I was very young at that time when I finished my studies. I'm pretty old now, 36. So, as the life goes by, you
36 is not old.
but if I tell you my stories, how I took the circuit board in my bike and how would I build companies, you may not believe it. How at one point in time, I told you it took 10 years to hit the number which I had it 10 years back. It's very hard, it's very painful. So sometimes, in order to, fulfill your ambitions, you might have your personal goal. Let me make first money, which part that I didn't did it in myself, because in my opinion it was like, let me jump into as fast as I can, so if I fail I have a time to learn, because that's what Abhishek says. As an electronics engineer, you never worry about failures. Every circuit fails. Every circuit failed. My first circuit failed. Even today it's failing, right? It's doesn't. Just look at the video that I put on YouTube. It has so much problems that the circuit I have built, but it didn't stop me because of that entrepreneurial and electronics in it. I just put out there. I don't care what Christoph will say, what maybe somebody will say, how right, how wrong, because I don't have to do it. I have a lot of engineers here sitting around, right? But I do it because I want to know, if I want to talk to my engineers, what should I talk about? So that's very different. And then I did LT Spice. Then yesterday I was going through LinkedIn profile of Navdeep, and then I saw the TMC dynamic drivers that he worked on, and that software I have developed using Qt in 2013. So it's amazing to take a chances on a technology. Doesn't matter, because the good part of embedded in electronics is you would never ever regret whatever job you took on, whatever skills that you took on. It's a beauty about this field. The only thing might bothers you is if you are financially unsatisfied. In my case it's not a case. I don't work for money. You might think I have an entrepreneurial things, but I don't work. I choose companies from which I want paycheck. So let me tell you today, if I want money from Google, I will work hard on YouTube. If I want money from Altium, I would work hard on my sponsorships. If I want money, I mean, I choose. I have a website which has 40 30,000 users. I will put affiliate links and I choose a company, Amazon, right? I want next paycheck from, right? But for this whole things, I have also sacrificed many things. So you have to put your priorities first. What is important for you at this point in time, and then even if it's a bootloader, maybe you will find your love in a bootloader. That's also possible. Maybe you will find embedded Linux, or maybe some sort of high level bootloader running on very sophisticated missile systems. Okay, maybe some healthcare device. So it's nothing, just take a chance and enjoy. I mean, it all depends on who is your role model. So my role model in my field is Jerry Ellsworth. Okay, that's what I have grown up seeing her, and I follow the strict principle. I don't care whether the circuit doesn't work, the client give the shit on you. I just jump into the same principles. Peter says, incremental skills. That's what I care, and if fail, it's fine. So for him it's the same. Follow.
So I have a question. I'm going to restate because I know that Joseph is trying to start a company of his own, and I'm just going to make an assumption that Christoph is starting a company of his own. That there are others on this call who, if not right now, are going to at some point want to do the same thing. So I will restate the question to you, Umesh. At a certain point, you have to scale, and at that point, you individually can no longer continue learning things. You have to hand off and say, look, Navadeep, you are the FPGA guy, and I'm not going to learn anything more about FPGAs because that's your thing. How do you make that determination? When did that happen for you? How did that evolution occur?
The good thing about doing consistently something and staying true to your passion, in my case probably that happened. um, if I would have came right now from west looking for, because there's a lot of economical things, then it would have taken me a time. So I spent already more than 12 years now here. So as you spend time, whether it's a business or job. If you do job, you develop a network around you who does a job and then does, if you're doing embedded Linux, you have 10 friends who's working with embedded Linux, similar companies, you have a networking. So even if you lose a job, you ask him. Similarly, that happens in a business as well. I told you I never need to write a post, or even on a LinkedIn, I have to mention IoT, wherein I'm a person to whom everybody calls for IoT in the city. I trained from Hitachi, Cisco, and all. I don't even need to tell them to write review, for me. So what happens is, once you spend significant amount of time, 10 years, 12 years or something, and if you really work hard, people see you what you're doing in the city. Okay, people seeing you what you're doing even online. If you're consistently posting, people see your dedication, right? And then what happens is, you develop a customer clients, you develop a network of a businesses. Even there are businesses around your businesses, they start supporting you. Okay, then you have a partners in a business which trust you because you spent 10 years. I mean, the partner which I have, with his wife he had spent just 5 years, and with me he spent 10 years building company, right? So it's very different combinations. And what happens then is, you can sit late night. Right now, look at me, I have a time, I can shoot here, and I can talk anything, I can attend event. So this eventually starts happening, but there is no shortcut to success. You have to really work hard on that and keep consistently doing one thing. Okay, one thing that you have to consistently do. If you do product design, do product design first, get develop very expert at that, and then jump into, let's say, marketing, because business is again very complex, diverse. It's not like, even right now I can't do everything. I can't write emails, I can't write develop the presentation. That's what my partners does. I mean, then I don't attend so many calls. That's not my work. I sit in a testing, one is this one, and the other one is a testing and assembly section, where it's another section. So I sit there, not even here. If it's So I think that happens as you go on. I see you have to spend minimum 10 years to reach to that, considering you are doing same thing, no diversion. You should not move into, you should not change. I never changed electronics to something else, like retail or hotel business, or some other. I had a lot of opportunities where I can invest and just jump into, but I didn't give up. So that's attitude you need, but then it happens.
Okay,
Christoph,
I
what's your experience been so far? How tell us about Embeetle, how long you've been doing it, and how your evolution's gone.
So I've been doing Embeetle for 6 years now, and we started just 3 guys, 3 engineers, to develop this product. But it's only the last year really that we are starting to get closer to commercial success, because our problem was that none of us had any commercial experience, in the sense of, how to say, we were 3 engineers with engineering experience. We knew how to build a product, but we had not the commercial experience. And last year, a friend of me joined the company. He's Chinese, and he has more this commercial mindset. So he's not an engineer, but he's commercially very good. And he's from Shenzhen, the capital of electronics. So that's also a very big bonus, because he can guide us into the Chinese market. That's where our market happens to be. So in my experience, it mostly comes down to finding the right people to cooperate with. I could not do this business alone. No way. I mean, there are, both on the technical side and on the commercial side. On the technical side, there are parts of Embeetle that I wouldn't be able to develop myself. I have my expertise, I have my skill set, but the skill set of my fellow colleagues in the company is we are how to say this, we are um, merging.
Complementary.
Yeah,
Complementary.
complementary. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, so that's on the technical side, but then on the commercial side, we really needed this guy Roy who joined us 1 year ago because yeah, as an engineer you can't do everything, you know. So my advice would be if you really want to start a business, don't do it alone. But I think maybe in Umesh, your case, you started doing this alone, right? Or no?
No. And I
Okay.
never advise this. I have one
Okay.
thing to
Sorry. Sorry.
say. I
Yeah.
have one very important point to say.
Mm-hmm.
What Peter does, freelancing, is very tough than
Yeah.
business.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
very tough. I mean, you have to
Mm-hmm.
be very smart for that because you're
Mm-hmm.
like a one-man show. And
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree with Christo. What I even to find the partners, I believe just start
Mm-hmm.
working at one point in time, right? I came back to India, I didn't had any partners. Okay, I was keep
Mm-hmm.
just talking to people. What should I do for you? Literally
Mm-hmm.
knocking door, just like you go. Uh, in Germany, basically, you can knock the door and ask companies. That doesn't work in India. One more interesting thing in India, the corporations are very big. In Germany, it's a small corporations, like 50 employees, 60 employees. In India, if you have 50, 60 employees, nobody take you seriously. I mean, people have to know these things. It's a very different world because here do volume production and services even in the volume. So I don't recommend people to do anything alone. Have a people. That's why community is very important. Okay, because community give you the reason to and then networking, right? uh, uh, you need some platform where you can go. I recently yesterday Brandon and me were exchanging some of our discussion, and I was very against attending events and conferences and all. In my opinion, right now, after 14 years, for me it's a waste of time. But if you go back to my younger version, I used to go in every fair, every conference. Even if somebody throw me out from the door, I still enter. So, but that's how it is. The networking is very important. Yeah. And yeah.
Yes, absolutely. What I wanted to add to that is like, even as a freelancer, you are you are alone officially speaking in your own company, but you don't have to be alone in doing the work. As a freelancer, what I observe around me, I know a lot of freelance engineer friends of me, and they cooperate together on certain projects. This is also to complement their skill sets.
Yeah.
So that's something I
Wha-
could also advise there.
One one more thing, it's a risky freelancer as well. So let's say you have tomorrow femoral neck surgery and you're on a bed for 6 months. I can't imagine because I had this surgery. I was straight on a bed. I tell you the reality. And I have two clients to, support for. If I don't have a team, I mean, these are the realities. So, um, yeah, networking, team building is very important.
Yeah, I just want to go back and underscore the fact that right now maybe the networking and the trade shows aren't as important for you, but you have a network now. If you
Yeah,
do, if you don't have a network, you have to do it
yeah,
because like I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. My biggest asset is my network, right?
perfect.
So
Even you should know which number to call.
yeah.
And right now, sitting in this room, I know which number to call is because I have a network. I know if I have a bootloader problem, which number I have to ring into. If I have the hardware problem, which number I have to ring into.
Hmm.
So I think networking in the early days, networking is very important. That's where you build a team. That's where you found, uh, your potential. Even it is equally um, applicable to job as well. You have to find networking because in this difficult economical situations, even if you're in very big corporations, there's nothing safe in the world, right? So let's say, why would somebody will recommend you into certain job if you don't have any give and take? There's no transaction. You can't just call somebody 5 years later and say, okay, I'm looking for job now. So it doesn't work. So it's not just for business. I think it's for life. What Peter says is very correct. I think when I started this business, then online is not very important. Wasn't very important. Okay, it was a year of 2013 or 14. It was still manual. I remember only Facebook was there, and LinkedIn was not very popular. But what Peter says right now, this branding maybe is very important for networking.
Joseph, how's things going with you? How's your startup working?
Okay. Yeah, it's going great. So I've thought of a product to build. It gets actually the product is actually in the market, but it's not so known like at my region. So it's OBD. I guess you guys should know of OBD for cars, vehicles. You get getting the data, the information of the car. You get so customers can use your phone to visualize. You get for the fuel gauge, and some other informations. So yeah, so that is the product we've thought of. Then we'll be starting the design by March. You get so right now we're still setting up some other technical stuff and business stuff. So yeah, so that is it. Also, when Umesh was actually saying something, I wanted to ask a question. Like in terms of okay, starting a business, though we are more focused on IoT device design, I guess, but we will still need like the software aspect, I guess, like application aspect, I guess. So right now in the business, we are actually three. So like, is it okay to get more people on board at this early stage, or to outsource um, most of the like software inclined work?
It's a question for B.
I can answer that.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
yeah,
anyone,
go ahead.
for
Go
anyone,
ahead.
yeah.
I think you need to outsource right now because you're too early in the game to be committing, right? So make sure, like Umesh said, and this is why this community is great, right? Is like, and others, is you've got access to people with different skill sets, and then even via these people, it's how many degrees of separation until you can find that specific skill that you're looking for. But you're operating like, I mean, I'm in a startup now too, right? And you have to have flexibility to be able to scale up and scale down based on what the demand is at the moment. You can't commit to a permanent resource right now if you don't know that you're going to be able to feed the mouth.
Okay, yeah. So now I was actually contemplating on that yet whether I will bring more people on board, and because I am the hardware guy, so I also have a software person he gets working with me. Then we'll have a firmware guy, but it's not actually he stays at the US. Again, so we are just collaborating from there. So that is basically it. So one challenge I might still have maybe later in the future in terms of marketing the product and all that. So I guess that to come later, maybe within June, July. So I need to build the prototype first.
We can help you with that. Umesh, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, first you have to, I mean, just make sure whatever you do have a solid product and solid service. Okay, because what you commit in your early days, that's what people will remember you if you don't change your geography, right? So people seeing me, my struggles, even those are my clients right now and very, very dedicated. They they wait for me. If you have a strong product, strong service, and if you do the commitments, then you are okay to say that never make a mistake. I mean, this is probably too early for you, but just make sure you have a strong product, strong skill sets. And once you have a strong product and skill sets, then you have to remove this word of hardware and software from your directory. Then you have to say that you build the product, right? Because if I would have been in Germany or Belgium or somewhere in Europe or United States, I would probably sell myself as an expert. That's an expert economy. But I'm in India. The moment I say I'm an expert, people want end-to-end things. People don't care what experts you are because they don't want to build next Sony television. Okay, Indians have very clean mindset. They go to Western world, they say, give us a technology, intellectual property, will pay you and we'll produce it here. We don't have a time for R&D. That's the attitude in India. So it's very different world and very different mindset. But my suggestion to you is first have a solid offering for what people will respect you and your words. If you don't have that, then it's become very difficult to win the projects. Once you have that solid offering around that, then you can develop very good your social media presence. Then you can develop a demos for free demos to capture the leads, and many things can be done. Yeah, but it's maybe come a little bit later.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Does anybody else? Does anybody in the meetup have any questions? They want to bring anything up, either in chat or just raise your hand or call out on this topic. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
About the question, is there any conclusion driven on jack of all trades, or like, or it's like specific on one topic, or going watched in variety of topics? Is there any conclusion drawn, or what's the viewpoint of the panel?
I guess I have something to say on this. Okay, I won't actually say we should like be that generalistic in all like in every aspect of the technical field. For example, even me, even in the hardware design, I'm also niched. I prefer designing more of embedded and IoT devices. Yet at my early stage, I saw like so many people into like the software field. So many of my friends, we finished secondary school together. So you're in the software field and you're like making money and all that stuff. And I was the only one learning hardware, and it was quite difficult for me. You get so I decided going into learning JavaScript, web development, and all that. So I didn't find it quite interesting. I still had like the passion to learn hardware. So it took time. It took time actually. So the main point I'm making is that it's also good to follow your passion again. Things you do at the early stage, you might find it difficult, very difficult, but that is why it's also good to join a community. What really helped me was me coming to LinkedIn. I came to LinkedIn about 3 years ago, I guess. So I started seeing designs from Pet, Peter, and other guys. I said, wow, see, these guys, yeah, they are really doing much. And yeah, it helped me a lot. Yeah. So it's good to be in a community and follow your passion. Let someone guide you. Have a mentor that will guide you through.
I think this sort of goes back, Navdeep. I don't know if you dropped or not, but I think this sort of goes back to the comment that Amesh made. You figure out what your financial goals are. You figure out what it is you ultimately want to do, and then based on that, you make the decision of whether you want to go deep or more broad, right? Because you could be the UAFI champ, right? And then your business will probably end up evolving into, you may be a freelance gun for hire, right? Who's just the person that everybody goes to because they know that if they need UAFI stuff, that's who to go to. But that's maybe not as conducive to building, a product type company, right? So I think it really does it. You need to take some self-reflection time and figure out what it is that you want to achieve. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Just holler if you have anything that you want to say, bring up.
We all are here for something that we are looking for in life, right? And for me, I tell you very openly, sometimes for me, Navdeep inspires me. Sometimes maybe Abhishek inspires me because as an engineer myself, I know I can't be good at everything. Sometimes I looked at Peter's hardware and think, I wish I could design something like that by myself. I understand the reality is I don't need to. I have an engineers, but I kind of out of this business clutter and nonsense, I find time to see developers in a community, and constantly asking, looking. Uh, I mean, for the community itself, I ask myself 100 questions a day. If I would not have been in the community, I would not have asked myself. And that takes me back 10 years, a refresher of myself, that how far I came and how much I don't know and how much I need to know. So I never have this feeling that I know everything. Couple of times I use myself very loose word in last 6 months, where I was like, I know now things. I don't care anymore, this all things. I could get things done. And now when I looked at, I don't know U-boot, I don't know Yocto. I can't design this Benny devices kind of 3D printed model. I don't have this 3D printer skill. I have 3D printer. I don't have skills. I don't have a time. But what closest I can get to know, I don't have to learn it even right now. I think this has to be built in us. And then at least at this moment, for me, it's not very important whether it's a business or job or money or not money. But what Brandon made is very important. When you're young, your financial goal has to be intact. Otherwise, all events in your life get late. I mean, I'm a victim. I don't want to talk that, but that's what happens. And it's painful. It's painful. It's not, it's not a honeymoon. It's difficult. So you have to be very careful.
Cool. All right. So we've got our weekly topics that need to be answered. Here they are. I don't necessarily want to go into each of these specifically and hack them right now, but anybody who has some background in security protocols, there's a question here from Noor, another one from Noor that I think there are some people certainly who can answer this one around Arduino and using H-bridge motor driver. I know that there are some people on this call who could probably take a look at that one. Beyond that, there's a pretty specific question about platform IO and the ESP framework and porting there from Kingram. Oops, let me do this. So there you go. And then another on ESP32 Wi-Fi manager. If somebody wants to claim a bounty, I'll bounty these if you want. So get in touch with me if you want to learn more about that. All right. So the reason that I'm moving a little bit more quickly through this week is that there's a lot of stuff that's coming up. Number one, we've got some more demos. So right now we're doing weekly demos, and let's see. That's why. Right now we're doing weekly demos. Hopefully the goal is to get to 2 a week at some point in the next few months. The next one up is with Abhishek. It's on Buildroot. And then beyond that, Imesh has another one on Serial Wire Viewer. Talking to Lucas about doing MQTT, connecting to the cloud. And then speaking of U-boot, Priyanka's working on a dual boot configuration. And then there's some other things beyond. We have this teardown channel that we're working with Pallav on to put together some organized activity around, scheduling it out once a week, where we're really going to be diving down into the system architecture, the device architecture of certain products, and seeing the components that are used, and from a high level, like a system block level, how they work together. So keep an eye out for that. Also, just want to remind you guys that there's a recruiter here, Marcus. That's his tag, his handles. Oops, it's my ring cam. At Mark Webb. You can mention him, or I'm in contact with him on a weekly basis. So if you have a job that you know is coming available, and you want to share it with the community, or if you're looking for a job yourself, reach out to me or him, and we can see if we can put something in place. Now, here are the real big highlights. We're working on a few pretty significant things. The first of which is tentatively called Learning Hours, which is something that Umesh and I have been putting together that's going to focus more on more early stage stuff. So your platforms like RP2040, ESP32, those sorts of things that are, very, very beginning stage, and just helping people get up and running in certain areas that, that they may need to start from not zero, but pretty close. We're hoping to do something around this once a week on the weekends. And I want to get people's feedback on whether or not they think that weekend sessions are good, bad, or indifferent. Like, how do your guys' schedules look? How do they shake out? So I'll just go through, and I'll start with Abhishek. Are the weekends good for you, bad for you? Would you show up to something on the weekends?
I am here because of learning, and what better than weekends we are free. We are like, as my personal experience, I'll say like yes, why not? I'll specifically make time out for this. I mean,
Okay.
it's like I'm not taking a journey which I would have to take. Rather, someone else will take me through that journey. It's better.
Okay. Shrisha, how do weekends look for you?
Yeah, yeah. The weekends are fine. I will make time for this because this is important for me as well because I get to speak with all of you people and they hear about your experiences. So yeah, I think weekend would be very good actually.
Perfect. Purnima, Sikandar, Priyanshu, Zaver Sefer, if you guys just want to throw in the chat, if you're listening, if whether or not weekends are good for you, that'd be helpful in helping us, plan out the community schedule. We don't want to throw something up, put a bunch of work in, throw something up, and then have nobody attend, right? Nobody be able to attend. So you guys can throw into chat what you think. How about you, Christoph? How do weekends look for you?
Me. Yeah, Saturday would be fine. Sunday is a bit harder because I go to Python classes with my son.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's learning Python. He's just 8. But you got to start early, right? So,
Are those physical classes or are they virtual?
yeah, physical. Yeah,
Okay.
physical.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How about you, Petter? How do your weekends look? Booked?
I'm sorry, weekends don't work for me.
That's okay. Understood. Joseph, how about you?
It depends on the time, on the particular time at the weekends you get. So weekends are quite constant, but it just depends on the time. So if the
Great.
time is okay, yeah, I'm
Cool.
available.
Cool. And Navadeep?
Oh, yeah, that works. Weekends are better actually. It's good. I have a lot of time.
Perfect. Okay.
The days
Great.
off.
Great. Well, the tribe has spoken. Weekends work. The next thing is we are going to be looking at starting in-person meetups. And the first one of those is going to be in Bangalore. We're trying to figure out logistically the best way to make this work. We obviously need a physical space now. We need to figure out a place in the city that is accessible. We need to do it in a way that doesn't cost so much that I have to sell my house. So we're evaluating that. And if anybody's in or near the Bangalore area and has ideas or feedback or whatever, that'd be great. We're working with Pallav on figuring out a specific physical location, Pallav and Navadeep in particular. So totally, if you're in Bangalore, you're interested, let me know. If you're somewhere else outside of Bangalore and you think that there's a no, you have to go to the one in Bangalore, Christoph.
Yeah.
If you're somewhere outside of Bangalore and you think that there is potential for something like this, drop me a line and we can talk about it. We'd really like to do a couple of these in Bangalore, figure out how to be more insular, get it right inside the community, and then see what works, what doesn't, and then go from there. But if you think this is something that could be applicable somewhere else, just tell me and at least put it on my radar. All
You're
right.
going to Bangalore, Brandon?
No, we're gonna do this. Yeah. So Navdeep and Pallav will probably be the people who will,
the hosts. Yeah.
who'll spearhead this.
Mhm.
All right. So now here we are. What can we do to get 1% better by next week? Any suggestions? Any thoughts?
How has things been over social media about the? Did we initially we saw a lot of people streaming in after we posted our social media, and afterwards kind of plateaued. And how has it been? Like, what do you all think?
So this is on me. We need to get a lot better with our social media strategy. We have social media platforms. We're posting there. We need to do a better job coordinating. There's a database, right? There's still significant promotions that are going to happen. A lot of this has to do with the fact that the reason we went into soft launch mode instead of full launch mode is that I was waiting for the website. There's a huge group of people who, for Discord, they will not understand this, right? They will get into it and say, what am I doing? Actually, one of my colleagues said that. They said, okay, I'm here and now I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, okay. So, So yeah, the website's going to be important. Sorry, go ahead, Abhijit.
True. Yeah, I was just telling you, website is so much important. I mean, few people I have talked to as well, they don't use Discord, and they can, or they potentially do that. They install Discord, come in and start looking at one, and then they're gone. They never open Discord again. So that happens. Website helps in, I mean, it's the layout which everyone is used to, and the flow is what everyone is used to. So having like a forum, Q&A stuff, feed, those things will make things, quite appealing, and people will stick on to it. Yeah, that's right.
It's essentially, the website is half normal website, half embed of the Discord, right? So like a lot of the pages are actually so the Discord's indexed, right? I think I've told you guys this a few times. So a lot of the pages are actually just like the Discord, just themed like the website. So I think this will help people digest this a little bit better, and hopefully we can start transitioning people from the outside in. But there are also ways that you can access the Discord from the website without technically logging in. So we're toying around with those permissioning and access controls. But yeah, I think that's going to be a big boost.
Oh, that's good to know. I mean, Discord embedded over the website. It'll be fun.
Anything else? Anybody else have any? Yep.
Yeah.
Go for it, Christoph.
So I have an update. The tiny Scarab board should arrive Wednesday at my place. 10 boards fully functional normally. I'm going to test them, and if they all work fine, then the second version can go in production. But then we can talk again about how many we need. I also tried to, for the second version, I tried to apply the suggestions from Peter. Thank you, Peter, by the way, for all the suggestions you made. I've tried to implement them. You can have a look at the GitHub page. I've also updated all the documentation there. Yeah, so that's awesome. The current status. I'll keep you guys informed about the ongoing development.
Perfect. Cool. I'll reach out to you. I'll reach out to you after this separately, and we can find out more. Cool. Anybody else have anything for the group, for the community that they want to share, get out there, request, offer? Okay. Well, as always, here's some resources. I'm going to upload this into the associated thread in the Discord channel, so you can take a look at those. Next meeting's a week from today, same time, same place. And if you have any topic requests, shoot them over to me. I am trying to build out a schedule for this. It's really appreciated if you give me topics that you'd like to cover to help me beef this up so that we can do some promotion around it. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for attending, and we'll see you in a week.